Before he became a billionaire, before the Shark Tank fame, Mark Cuban was sleeping on the floor of a 3-bedroom apartment with 6 roommates, selling garbage bags door to door just to make $1. This is the true story of how an ordinary kid from Pittsburgh hustled his way through rejection, risk, and reinvention to become one of the most respected entrepreneurs of our time. Stick around. His journey may just change the way you think about success, hard work, and what's possible. Mark Cuban wasn't born into wealth. In fact, his family was working class. His father was an automobile upholsterer, and his mother switched jobs frequently, never settling into a single career. They lived modestly in a suburb outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But what stood out about Mark from an early age wasn't talent, it was curiosity. At just 12 years old, he saw a simple problem. People needed garbage bags. So he bought boxes wholesale and went door to door selling them for a small profit. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He wanted to learn how money moved, how value worked, and how to earn something for himself. That curiosity never left. By the time he was in high school, Mark had taught himself how to run small-scale side hustles. He sold stamps, coins, whatever he could flip. But even then, he wasn't thinking like a typical teenager. He was thinking like a businessman, always asking, what's the next angle? After high school, Cuban didn't follow a straight path. He enrolled at the University of Pittsburgh, then transferred to Indiana University. Why Indiana? Because it had one of the lowest tuition rates among top business schools. He literally chose his college based on how cost-effective it was. While there, he didn't just study business, he lived it. He gave dance lessons to pay his way through school. Started a chain letter business, bought and resold bar supplies. By graduation, he had already launched multiple micro-businesses and had no interest in the corporate ladder. But real life hit hard after college. He moved to Dallas, Texas, with no job, no network, and no backup plan. He shared a small apartment with 5 guys and worked at a bar. Sometimes he slept on the floor. Sometimes he skipped meals. But he kept reading business books, kept showing up, kept asking questions. Eventually, he landed a job at a small software company called Your Business Software. His role? Sales. And he was good at it. Really good. He learned fast, closed deals, and built relationships. But then, he got fired. Why? He had the chance to close a $15,000 deal, but had to meet the client in person. So he went, without asking permission. When he returned, his boss told him he was out. No second chance. It could have been a breaking point. But instead, it became a turning point. Cuban decided that if he couldn't keep a job, he'd create one. And that's how Micro Solutions was born. He started with almost nothing, just the experience he picked up from his previous job, a used PC, and a small loan from a friend. He built the company by doing what most people wouldn't. He took client calls late at night, read software manuals cover to cover, made house calls when needed, and treated every customer like a partner, not a number. Micro Solutions grew fast. Within a few years, it was generating millions in revenue. And in 1990, just 7 years after he was sleeping on floors, he sold the company to CompuServe for $6 million. He was 32 years old, and suddenly, financially free. If you're enjoying this story and want to see more real journeys like this, stories that go beyond the headlines, take a moment to hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and ensures you never miss a story that could inspire your next step forward. After the Micro Solutions exit, Cuban could have retired early. But that's not who he was. He didn't want comfort. He wanted the game. And in 1995, he found it. Along with his college friend Todd Wagner, Mark launched Broadcast.com, a bold new idea at the time. The internet was still dial-up, but Cuban believed in the future of streaming. The idea was simple. What if you could listen to live sports, radio, and events directly over the internet? They started small, just audio at first. But Cuban saw the bigger picture. They expanded into video, built partnerships, and in 1999, just 4 years after launch, Yahoo acquired Broadcast.com for $5.7 billion. Yes, billion with a B. Cuban's share, over $1 billion in Yahoo stock. But he didn't stop there. He sold most of his stock quickly, sensing the dot-com bubble was near its peak. He was right. The crash came months later, but Mark had already preserved his wealth. From there, he diversified. He bought the Dallas Mavericks, turning a struggling NBA franchise into a championship-winning organization. He invested in startups, launched production companies, and of course, became a mainstay on Shark Tank, mentoring and backing entrepreneurs who reminded him of himself. Mark Cuban's story isn't about luck. It's about learning how to think differently and act boldly. Here are the key takeaways from his journey. 1. Start small, but start early. Cuban didn't wait to get ready. He sold garbage bags at 12 and built from there. The sooner you start learning, failing, and trying, the faster you grow. 2. Learn faster than everyone else. He read manuals cover to cover, asked questions no one else was asking. He didn't have all the answers. He just learned faster than his competitors. 3. Turn rejection into momentum. Getting fired was a gift in disguise. It pushed him to build something on his own. Sometimes the door that closes opens the one you really need. 4. Be willing to grind. Sleeping on floors, skipping meals, working long hours. It's not glamorous, but for Cuban, it was temporary. He did what he had to do, so later he could do what he wanted. 5. Think long-term, act short-term. He saw the future of streaming when it barely existed, but he acted immediately, step by step, building toward that vision every day. 6. Protect your wins. After the Yahoo deal, he didn't gamble with his wealth. He diversified, took profits, and preserved what he earned. Making money is one thing, keeping it is another. Mark Cuban's story reminds us, you don't have to start with a lot, you just have to start. With curiosity, with work ethic, with a willingness to figure things out along the way. If you found this story valuable, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Thanks for watching, and remember, your journey doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It just has to keep moving forward.